Hi, this tutorial will explain how to connect your Liferay instance to the Zivacare platform using Ziva Care Connect from Liferay Marketplace. Zivacare is an online platform for monitoring body parameters. You can easily track, capture or interpret different parameters like weight, height or others. The end purpose of this plugin is to allow Liferay users to store or retrieve data out of Zivacare and display them in different dedicated portlets. For more information about Zivacare, you can check the resources from the video description. And now let's move on to our tutorial. So, after installing the plugin from Marketplace, you will see two new options in Control Panel. First one is here, it's Zivacare configuration. Here you can set the API endpoints for Zivacare in case you have your own on-site installation. Otherwise, just leave the default values. And we'll get back to this one right here. What this plugin does is actually connecting a Liferay site to a Zivacare application. Zivacare implements this concept of applications, which is in many ways similar to a Google project. Let's go step by step and see what this means. So, I created an empty site for this tutorial. We open it, and in the users category, we will see this new option. It tells us that the site is not yet connected, so we will have to do that. Click here, and as I said, we need to retrieve the client ID and client secret keys from that Zivacare application. There is a demo account that you can use to create your own applications, but for the purpose of this demo or for fast testing in general, you can just use the default demo app. Click on this button, it will automatically complete the credentials, and then we save. It tells us that the site is now connected to that application, and the endpoints are accessible. And what we need to do now is to connect the users. This is how it works. Zivacare creates a reference of the Liferay user, so it knows what data to provide. We will synchronize all of them at once. This might take a few seconds. And we're almost done. Users that are further added to this site will automatically be synchronized to Zivacare. We also have these options right here if you want to exclude some users, in case we need that. Just remember that if you connect your site to a demo application, its data will be reset on a regular basis. So for production, you need to create your own developer.zivacare.com account and create applications with that account. Speaking of this, let's log in. We use the demo account mentioned before. There will be a couple of applications here depending on who is testing the platform at that moment. We select the default demo, and if we go to users, we will see that the previous accounts were synchronized. There might also be other users here in case somebody else from another Liferay instance is testing at the same time. This brings up another point. You need to avoid the common email addresses when you test, because there might be some conflicts from, of course, other testers. Okay, now let's go back to Liferay. The next step is to actually see some user data. For this, we need to deploy the status portlet on one of the sites page. I've prepared an empty page in this site, and we deploy the portlet. The user status shows what data sources is that the user connected to. By data sources, we mean different dedicated platforms for body parameters like Fitbit, Jawbone, Runkeeper, etc. This user has none, so we will connect some of them. Click on Connect Health Data. At the moment of this tutorial, these 5 platforms are available to connect. in the future others will be available too. Let's first connect to Fitbit, for example. It's a standard OAuth 2 authentication. And here it tells us that it's connected. Let's just quickly connect another one, iHealth, for example. Now, Zivacare has an internal synchronization mechanism that pulls data out of all these platforms, which runs regularly. If we want, we can force this process to run faster to retrieve the data. However, it's an asynchronous project, so the data won't be available right away. You need to wait a few minutes. Just click synchronize, and we will see the data soon. So, besides gathering body parameters from all these platforms, Ziva Care Connect allows your library instance to become a data source on its own. This means you can use some third-party portlets or write your own in order to gather body parameters data from users and store them to Ziva Care. They are stored under a name, and this name can be configured from the parameter that I showed you in the beginning in Ziva Care configuration. I promised I get back to this one. So by default this is your DNS name, and of course you can set it to whatever you want. Let's go back to our status portlet. As we can see, the synchronization process ran. So some data is already pulled from Fitbit. The next step now is to actually see this data. This plugin also includes a very simple portlet for displaying some body parameters like weight or height. We need to deploy it on a separate page. I've prepared an empty one for this, and the portlet name is Stream Viewer. It can be configured to display one of these 3 parameters actually. So weight, height, or steps, the number of steps that you made that day according to Fitbit or whatever you connected to. We leave it for weight now, and of course there is no data yet. The portlet filters the data by data source. And of course you can view the data by year, month, whatever. So just for testing, we can use these options to generate some sample data. It might take a few seconds to execute. And here it is. So it just generated some random data, but you can get an idea of how this looks like. Of course, when you will have data from the other platforms, they will be available. Let's see, maybe... yeah, so for example, it also gathered data from iHealth. You can navigate, depend on month, year, depending on what you want, and see the individual data in this table below. Of course, there isn't much you can do with this portlet. It is more like a mock-up, so you can get the idea behind the plugin. For the complete experience with Zivacare, you should use our dedicated portlets for gathering and analyzing this data. They will be soon available on Liferay Marketplace as a separate plugin. Besides this, this plugin also offers an API, so you can write your own portlets if you want. You can use both the local API by importing the jar file or using the web service API. So thanks for watching, thanks for your time, and we're looking forward for your comments or questions in the email from the video description. Bye.